The City of Annapolis primary election is Tuesday, September 16th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and if you are in line by 8, you will still be able to vote. There is no Republican primary this year, as all Republican candidates are unopposed and will advance to the November general election. On the Democratic side, there are contested races for mayor and in wards 1, 3, 4, and 6. If you received a mail-in ballot, it must be received, not just postmarked by 4:30 p.m. on September 12th. Ballots can be mailed, dropped in an official drop box, delivered to City Hall, or taken to your polling place on Election Day. Ion Annapolis offered every candidate in a challenge race the opportunity to speak with us. We reached out to each campaign 3 times. Each candidate was asked these same questions, and their answers are presented here, unedited and in their own words. No one received the questions in advance, and in fairness, all of these conversations are being released at the same time. We do plan to do something similar for the general election once the ballot is set. Please have a listen to each of these candidates so you can make an informed vote. Well, continuing our interviews with the councilmanic candidates in the primary election for Annapolis. And again, that primary is on September 16th. And on the phone with us today is Diesha Contee, who is a candidate for Ward 6 Ward 6 City Count. What am I dumb? My mind is someplace else. Who is a candidate for Ward 6 Alderwoman, I should actually say. So thank you very much for your time. And I do want to apologize for being late to contact you. We had an appointment for 11:30 and I was so late. So my apologies.
You're fine. You're fine.
Well, let's get into some large issues. We've got the City Dock Resiliency and Flooding Project that's going on down there. It's looking to protect downtown from flooding and sea level rise. Do you support that project?
I would say I do support it, but not in the capacity of how much they're putting into it. Like, I do understand the reasoning for why they feel as though, it's a must that it has to happen. But I feel like it's some other places in Annapolis that can use a lot of these same supports, and they've just been missed.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take a look, and that may tie into that at crime and public safety there. And I know Ward 6 has its challenges, and I know in 2024, actually, Ward 7 was ranked as one of the highest violent crimes. They had a homicide, 2 rapes, and multiple robberies.
And 3 too.
Yeah.
And the highest. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. City officials say that there's common issues like thefts from unlocked vehicles and everything else. And they say the solutions are better street lighting, community policing to deter crime. What do you think that we need to do to improve public safety to allow people to feel safe in Annapolis?
This is a good question. What I feel like is the biggest thing for the public safety issue to kind of diminish is never going to end, but I think that it can be lowered tremendously by basically building certain relationships with the community. So a lot of the people in the community suffer from a lot of different things that they don't even know like which way to go. So violence and drugs and all of those things that tie together are just things that they normalize. So if we had like different workshops and different programs and advocacy things that could more so like kind of get them healed from that, then it might show them or give them the opportunities to know that it's a better way to do things and it's a better way to live. So even though you're living in this neighborhood that you might not have the financial capacity to pay for a big place or whatever, but you can start appreciating that you have a home and start looking at it on a different level versus feeling like we're already in this place and it looks like this and it feels like this. So why are we going to treat it better? And that's a lot of people's look at it on the public safety level. And so I feel like if it was more relationships like between like the police and just all of like the office of emergency, that it would bring the morale back to the residents to basically want to do something different.
Makes sense. In Ward 6 and across the city, actually, housing costs are a huge concern for many. In fact, a lot of voters have, I think there was a survey statewide that said that 42% of the younger renters are considering leaving the state just because it's so expensive to live here. What are your thoughts to help make Annapolis more affordable?
Hmm. Um,
Not like it's an easy solution, right?
I think that when thinking about um having some of the places, then they should look into giving more affordable options, because a lot of the options are like um not too affordable. Like if you don't work or you don't have certain things, I like it goes back to the having different trainings and jobs being offered so that people will feel comfortable with paying something that they would consider affordable. Because if I don't have a job, it's really nothing affordable for me. So depending on like where they are financially, the definition of affordable could be like so broad. I think that especially like with the public housing, if it was more like jobs or trading and trades, like schooling and stuff like that, that was offered for people who might have had like a background or might have had um some type of things that are hindering them from getting certain jobs, then it wouldn't be so much of an issue, because then they would be able to step into some of these jobs that they really could be qualified for, but the background or charges prevent them from getting.
I hear you. I hear you there. Um, Sliding over into economic development and business, a lot of people say that it's just really very difficult to do business in town. Annapolis sort of has gotten that reputation, and there's been some local people that have looking developers that have said, "I'm never spending money in this town again," out of frustration with the red tape. Do you have any ideas that would make the city more business friendly to be able to, start a business and to run a business here in Annapolis while still preserving the charm and character that tourism, which is a huge segment of our business, is built on?
Um, One of the things that I do feel like would be important is giving everybody the opportunity to get educated on what entrepreneurship is, and also getting educated on what type of assistance, like funds, are available for them. I know that like starting a business is very hard, and a lot of people in the beginning, when you're changing to do something different, you're already like kind of finicky or whatever. So I think in the beginning, if somebody is showing the interest to want to start a business or anything, so that so they can get past that 5 year where they say if in 5 years you're not thriving, you'll fail. To get past that, if they have certain education about what entrepreneurship is, the things that it takes to keep it going, and certain funds that you can get, I think they'll have a higher chance at sustaining their business and feeling more comfortable in the business.
Very well. I think this is going to sort of tie into what you're talking about the different opportunities as well. But we look in Annapolis and we've got traffic congestion on Forest Drive and just downtown and everything else. We've got parking shortages. Certainly, we've got different events and tourist season that rolls in here. They're all perennial problems in Annapolis, and public transit options are pretty limited. And a lot of people complain about the difficulty in getting around. What do you have any thoughts on how to improve mobility and getting around in the city? And then, let's bring the parking garages into this as well, because it's very difficult and very confusing to park in the garages. Do you have any thoughts about how to make it better?
I think with the transportation situation, that the way that it's looking like, as far as that, they are gonna be modeling how DC is soon, or how New York is soon, where you're gonna have to rely on public transportation because you might not have parking. It's neighborhoods now where people have to park in the street. because they don't have parking in their neighborhoods that they're living in, which is so crazy. But I think that eventually what'll happen is it'll be less people owning cars and more people using public transportation because of this reason. It'll be kind of like a forced thing, even though like people will still want to have their cars. It's going to be kind of like a forced thing to be here because they're constantly building and building. So it's less parking garages going to be here and it's going to be less parking for cars because they're building more houses or more tourist attractions and hotels and all of those type of things.
Interesting. Well, I want to slide over into education and youth programs. I know that the city government doesn't control the schools. That's run by the county, but we still have an impact on education and youth, and we've got quite a few young people here in Annapolis. How would you support educational opportunities and youth programs here in Annapolis as an alderwoman for Ward 6?
I'm really, really into the youth. I don't know if you know, but um I love getting, into everything that the youth has going on. I feel like giving youth opportunities like to do like apprenticeships and having like paid internships and different like um opportunities and trades to just be able to see whether they want to do certain things. But as far as like getting them connected, I think those are the best ways. Paid internships, apprenticeships, mentorships, and basically it's just it'll kind of give them the opportunity to get unexposed to some of the things that they're already used to and get them into the habit of what adult life will be like as a kid.
Fantastic. Um, City residents do expect open and ethical government leadership, and I think the ethics guidelines says, quote, holding public trust requires maintaining high ethical standards. Um, how will you contribute to promote transparency and accountability when you've got that desk at City Hall?
Um, well, I feel like I'm a very, very transparent and I'm a very transparent type of person. So I feel like it'll still be my same way with like I feel like what's right is what's right, whether it's a African American, a Caucasian, a Hispanic. I feel like being truthful and being honest all the way around, even in whatever type of position that you're in, is essential. So I'll keep that same type of morale going.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, the current mayor and most of the council is
Mm-hmm.
out of there come December. Okay, they're
Mm-hmm.
turned out, or they're abdicating, or they're just not running again. And there's been a lot of discussion about their legacy. Some do praise the current administration, saying some people have said that it's one of the best mayors that we've ever had. But there's been some criticisms. The city dock project started out at about $40 million. It's looking to be close to $100 million at this point, and we're still trying to figure out where $33 million worth of FEMA money is for that. But do you have any thoughts on what the current administration did right or wrong, or right and wrong?
Um, I, me, and my honest opinion, I feel like um, no administration can come in and say, I'm going to make sure that X, Y, and Z happens. So I just feel like the only problems that I have with any administration is to give promises to people that you don't know if you could keep. um Saying that I want to do these things and I'm planning to do these things and I'm looking for any ideas. I think that bringing more people that are like from these neighborhoods, from these communities to give you ideas and stuff, everybody is not going to agree on the same things. But I feel like bringing more people to give you ideas and solutions is the best way because you can't do it by yourself.
True.
So,
True. Well, looking into the budget and the fiscal, I mean, that's a big part of your job as an alderwoman, is getting all the money in order and everything else there. And Annapolis tends to do more with less. We've got the federal
mhm.
government, the state government, and the county government. None of those guys pay taxes. And, you know, as the budget gets in, I mean, we're trying to keep property taxes reasonable and everything else. We may be looking at cutbacks from the federal government and everything else. But as a council member, Where would your budget priority lies? I mean, where would you look to put the money when you're putting the budget together?
Um, so I'm a big advocate for housing. Um, with stipulations for that. So I feel like it's a lot of hardworking people and people that are really doing the right things. They're working. They're not just sitting at home doing nothing. I think that here in public housing is a great place to put a nice amount of the budget, but I do have stipulations with it. Like I feel like it should be certain things that the residents and the management should have to do before getting that. Because if you don't do that, these places will be right back in the same conditions that they were because it's a mindset thing. So I want to implement different unoptional programs that would have people dealing with um mind diversion and stuff like that so that they could know like how to have good housekeeping, know how to be able to pay your bills and all the things that are just regular life skills considered to other people, that they could get to know those type of things so that they don't fall back into the same, oh, we don't like this because it looks like this. So that's one of the things. My next thing would be um youth programs and recreation. When I was a kid, when I got out of school, right after I got out of school, I went to the rec center and we were there like until like 8:30 every day. So with that not being an option now, I feel like that's a nice part of why some of the things are happening with the kids. Because if they have people that are there outside of their parents that are having some type of structure with your education, with like your social life, with making sure that you eat and stuff like that, which is what I had. I think that the kids turn out better when they have a wraparound support. And that's why I'm so big on providing everybody with wraparound. When families come to me, I make sure that they know, like, have y'all ate? Do y'all have this? Do y'all have that? And I give the whole list of rundown of things that I know that's important for a person to function regularly.
Great. Well, I'll tell you, voters often feel disconnected from their officials. The politicians show up before an election, then you never hear about them until the next election. I mean, how
Hmm.
do you plan to engage the public and make sure that you're accountable and keeping your residents, constituents informed between the elections?
That's not going to be a plan. That's going to happen. That's one thing that I hate the most about like just politics, period, because just like what we're dealing with right now, I've been doing this work since 2017. Not and a lot of it I wasn't getting paid for. I just was doing it because it's a passion to see a transformation from the people. So I invested in anything that I knew that can help people. I got the training. I got whatever type of education. I took certain classes so they could say, "Oh, Diesha took this too. She did this class and she was doing all right." And she still, I did it because I want to show somebody that even if you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with, it's things out there that can help you go to the next level. So I know for a fact that I'm going to be one of those people that is still going to stay connected to the residents, still going to stay connected to the community, because that's a huge passion of mine.
Fantastic. Well, Ward 6 has its own issues. Ward 8 has its own issues. Ward 1, they all have their own issues
Hmm.
that's unique to the specific part of town. In Ward 6, from your point of view, what do you believe is the single most pressing issue facing that community, and how do you plan to address it?
Um, I think that public safety might be our biggest. Um, for the most part, I would say public safety. Next, it would be the housing. I would say public safety because what affects us over here in Eastport or in Robinwood also trickles to the neighbors next to us that don't really have the crime. Because if I know that just across the street it was a shooting or it was a stabbing or it was a robbery, I'm gonna be super precautious too. And it really doesn't have anything to do with me, but it still affects me in the same way that affects those people that live right there. It's gonna affect those people that's right across the street too.
Makes sense. Well, if elected, you're going to be representing obviously Ward 6, but you're also going to be representing the city, and the city
Mhm.
has its own needs that maybe in line with Ward 6 and maybe a little bit different. But how are you going to balance the needs of Ward 6 with the needs of Annapolis as a whole?
Um, I know that with anything that's new is gonna be a test. So I'm just gonna remain teachable. I'ma allow people to um give me different insights because I need to be educated too. So I'm gonna just be open and willing to work on whatever needs to be worked on, however I need to. Um but I'm not going to make outrageous promises. And I feel like having the people that are really dealing with these issues, listening to them and getting their solutions to come up with the best solution is the best way to go.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, as we start to wrap it up, Taisha, there are about 14,000 people that subscribe to this, and then people are going to listen to it on Ion Annapolis or on some of the socials and stuff like that. So I want to sort of hand the microphone over to you and the residents of Ward 6 that are trying to figure out how to vote. Why do we need to vote for Diesha Contee for Alderwoman for Ward 6?
Um I I plan to still be the strong advocate and be the voice for everyone in Ward 6, not just where I am. I've had the commitment to serve with compassion, transparency, and presence, like I'm always available since 2017, where I brought a lot of programming and food insecurity help and help with like different mothers and things that they had going around, basically providing wraparound services for not just Eastport, but for all of Annapolis since about 2018. Um, I feel like I'm good with organizing, collaborating, and just being a people person. So I feel like I will be a great candidate and I will continue to be teachable so that everybody feels inclusive.